In a remote countryside, covered in the lush green of vast rice fields, there lived a woman alone in a rustic house. In a region still steeped in backwardness, single mothers like her never received empathy and had to endure many hardships. Despite the immense difficulties of life, she always stood resilient, cherishing every moment because she knew she was carrying a tiny life within her. Each day, she toiled hard yet poured boundless love into her unborn child. The baby in her womb seemed to be her only source of life through those stormy days. Time passed quietly, and the baby grew bigger each day along with the love she had for him. As the day of childbirth approached, her worries multiplied. How could she give birth alone? And would her beloved child suffer the same hardships she did? The cold winter winds brought sleepless nights. One night, the sky turned pitch black. Thunder rumbled ominously, signaling an inevitable fierce storm. The woman felt intense labor pains, knowing it was time to give birth. Alone amidst the pouring rain and howling winds, she decided to embark on a dangerous journey to the distant city, hoping to find help and safety for her child. The road to the city crossed a narrow wooden bridge, icy cold from the strong winds. As she reached the middle of the bridge, the pain became unbearable, causing her to collapse. Knowing she couldn't go any further, below the bridge, the rushing waters seemed to want to sweep everything away, yet she had no other choice. She squeezed herself under the bridge, enduring agonizing pain, and there, amid the heavy rain and roaring storm, she brought forth a tiny life. Using her last bit of strength, she wrapped her child tightly in layers of thick clothing, keeping that small body as warm as possible before surrendering herself to eternal sleep, sacrificing everything for her. The next morning, when the first rays of sunlight filtered through the dew droplets, another woman passed by the bridge. Her vehicle suddenly broke down, seemingly by a miraculous arrangement. While checking around, she heard a faint cry from below. Without hesitation, she rushed down under the bridge and was shocked to find the baby, still warm from its mother's embrace, in the cold, eternal arms of the deceased mother. The kind woman took the child back with her, dedicating the following years to love and nurture the boy. 10 years later, on his birthday, he learned the tragic yet loving story of the mother who gave him life. Instead of crying, he gently asked his adoptive mother if he could visit his late mother's grave. Even though it was freezing cold, they went together to the cemetery. The boy stood before his mother's grave, filled with sorrow and boundless gratitude. Suddenly, he began to remove his jackets, under the surprised gaze of his adoptive mother. Despite the bone-chilling cold, he didn't hesitate. Alarmed, his adoptive mother rushed over to hug him, but the boy remained determined, shedding the remaining layers of clothing, tears welling as he embraced the grave, choked with emotion. "Mom, am I cold now like you were back then?" That was a moment when sacrifice and love bridge generations, and a mother's love, though distant, remains a warm flame, illuminating and guiding her child on life's journey. In that quiet moment at the graveyard, as the boy removed his jackets, he felt a profound connection to the mother he had never known. His tears became a bridge to the past, a testament to a love that existed beyond life and death. The cold wind blowing through the cemetery felt like the whispers of his mother's sacrifice, reminding him of the warmth she provided even in the darkest times. Embracing her grave tightly, he realized that his mother's love was an everlasting flame, guiding him through life. This poignant act not only honored her memory, but also strengthened an unbreakable bond spanning generations, showing that a mother's love always transcends all barriers. Living on in the heart of her child, now filled with gratitude and strength.